Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another broadcast of Wealth and Wisdom with Fred Belcastro from the John DeVita Broadcast Center on the Windy City Hometown Entertainment Network and Jack FM 89.7 WRHS FM Norwich on Friday, August the 12th, the year 2016. And now, here he is, Mr. Fred Belcastro.
When you're smiling, when you're smiling, when you're smiling, when you're smiling, and the whole world smiles with you. And when you're laughing, oh, you're laughing, when the sun comes shining through. When you're crying, you bring on the rain. Stop your sighing. Won't you be happy again? When you're smiling, keep on smiling.
Good morning and welcome to the Wealth and Wisdom program. My name is Fred Belcastro, your host, and during the next 30 minutes, we're going to talk and discuss using wisdom, our wisdom, to grow and protect our wealth. As usual, we're broadcasting from the John DeVita Broadcast Center here on the northwest side of Chicago. And, of course, you know you're listening to us on Jack FM 89.7 WRHS out of Norwich. And speaking about Norwich, you're listening to us on August the 12th at approximately 10:30 on a Friday morning. This happens to be the first day back to school for our friends and students at Ridgewood High School. Congratulations. Welcome back to school. Welcome to the greeting of all of your old friends and perhaps some of the freshmen meeting some new friends as well. So enjoy the school year. Yesterday at the gym, a friend of mine asked, he said, Fred, what are you going to talk about tomorrow when you do the program? And I said, tomorrow I'm going to talk about the cars and weddings and the costs, other financial projects that come down the road. We know that every 3 or 4 or 5 years we have to purchase a new car, and the prices of the new cars are now in the 30,000s, and of course the weddings are $30,000 plus. So we're going to talk about the cost analysis. And then I stopped and thought about it later, and I thought about it later, and I said, no, I'm going to talk about that dreaded subject of life insurance. But before I get to that, that brings me back to some basic questions that everyone wants to know the answers of. I think everyone in their 50s, late 40s, 50s, and certainly by the time they reach 60, want to have at least an idea, a concept of how much money they're going to need in retirement. Do I have enough money? If I'm short money, how short am I? And then we go to the 4 questions. What rate of return do we need in order to maintain a present standard of living? How much do we have to save? How much more do we have to save in the years that we have towards retirement to maintain our present standard of living? And I always talk about to maintain your current standard of living, to maintain your present standard of living, to live the way you're living now, so that you and your family can stay in your own worlds that you've created. And it's so important when you reach these stages in life to be able to maintain control over your life and live your life in harmony with the previous years. Having to move, having to relocate out of necessity of income is a terrible thing. We run across individuals some time ago that this husband and wife thought for years, because of the advancing ages and expenses that they have with the hospitalization and medicine, that they could no longer pay their taxes and live according to the lifestyle that they've been accustomed to. And I'm not talking about living with an income of $500,000 a year. I'm talking about people like you and I. And just by looking at some of these things, can take a cloud of uncertainty out of the picture, erase the problems that we have. As you grow in years, certain things seem to bother certain people. One of them is, of course, not having enough money in which to live. And that seems to really become a burden, leading to the depression and sickness and anxieties, jumping on one another, having to be upset about something or another, and the ultimate source of this frustration is the lack of money or the lack of knowledge of are you going to really be okay? And if we have to work longer, how much longer are you going to have to work? Can that fit into your present health situation, your lifestyle? And if we don't do anything other than the way we are right now, will we have to reduce our standard of living? By how much? And what'll that mean for us? A lot of people don't realize that the same set of retirement accounts, the same money values, the same dollars that they have can often fund retirement income for different lengths of time, depending on the order in which you take the distribution. It's just it ain't so that you've got to stick by the standards that the minimum retirement distributions on your IRAs have. You could take out more. We could make some adjustments to some of those things, but in order to do that, you got to have a summary of the amount of dollars that you have available for the distribution, and then calculate from there. You have to have an active model. You have to have an economic model in order to take a view and see what type of distribution that's going to be available to you in the following years. So I wanted to get off the cost analysis, and let's talk about that old nemesis, that thing that nobody wants to talk about. What do you do for a living? Oh, I sell insurance. You what? I sell insurance. It's something nobody wants to talk about. They see a guy walking down the street, they avoid him. They think he's doing something with religion, or he's an insurance salesman, and don't open the door for either of them. But for many families, for most people, the life insurance can be the most versatile and powerful financial tool that they have in their portfolios. With Bud Feldman, wasn't it years ago, from Ohio? The name of the city he was from escapes me at the time, but nevertheless, he talked about with the stroke of a pen you can create an estate. You want $100,000 more for your family? Just sign here. If you want $200,000, $500,000. So, in addition to that death benefit that everyone thinks about, there's substantial living benefits as well in earning a cash value policy with a mutual company. No question about it. I've been licensed for over 50 years. I see life insurance not as something you need. I have to have. You don't need it. You don't want it, you don't need it. Just like a car. I have relatives that never owned an automobile in their life. They live in the city. They never drive. Now with Uber, there's always taxi cab and public transportation. Do you need a car? You don't need it. And it's the same with life insurance. Do you need it? No. But, hey, take a look around you. Do you want to protect? Do you want it? And so it's not a need. It's a want. We want certain things to happen financially. For ourselves, we want them for our family, for the loved ones, and the people that we care about when we're not here to provide it. Years and years ago, there was an insurance promotion that said, what's a tier cost? And I remember the answer to that very vividly, as if it was just yesterday. And it said that a tier costs whatever it is to prevent it. And that's what we want to do. We want to keep our families in their own worlds. We want to prevent a lot of those tiers. I think knowing what you want to happen, an amount of insurance can be calculated in order to make sure that what you want to happen will happen whether you're here or not. No one needs or no one has to own life insurance. It's voluntary. You make that decision yourself. And that carries with it a big emotion. I think we talked about people running out of money. It's very emotional. And it's the same way with the voluntary decision. That carries with it, I think, that emotional component that's not found in any other product or any other financial product that we can buy. Once the financial aspect is balanced with the emotional side of buying insurance, the insurance can be seen as a solution. It's a solution to a financial objective instead of bad tasting medicine, something that has to be rammed down your throat. Once you decide what it really is, once you decide how much life insurance you want, the next thing you should think about is what kind. You know, we're bombarded with all kinds of advertisements as you can get this for only $14.95. For $14.95 a month, we gave this guy $100,000 of insurance, and he had high blood pressure, and he had type 2 diabetes, and he had a stent, and all these kind of things that we hear we're bombarded with and laid on top of us. I think that knowing how an insurance policy works, first of all, it's always good to be educated. A friend of mine retired as a 35-years teacher at Eisenhower High School in Blue Island, said, "Fred, knowledge is always good." And that's maybe a message for our students at Ridgewood. Knowledge is good. So once you know and make the application of knowing how insurance works, you'll be in a better position to choose the type that is best for you. Not just pick up what seems to be in your shopping cart or in somebody else's shopping cart. What I use visual. We've got a computer. We got laptops. We got computers in our office. So I use a visual demonstration to walk people through. I'll start. Yeah, you know what? You can get $500,000 of insurance for $14. There's a minimum you can pay for any given amount of life insurance. Who determines the minimum amount that you can pay? Well, it's the insurance company. All right, so there's a minimum amount of dollars that any insurance policy can cost, and there's a maximum you can pay. Who determines the maximum? It's determined by the government. What? I said it's determined by the government. You see, the government tells you how much money you can put into an insurance policy. Does the government tell you how much money you can have in a CD? No. Does the government tell you in any other financial project how much money you can put into it? No. But they'll tell you how much money you can put into a life insurance policy. I find that really fascinating, that the government cares about how much money we can put into insurance. Do you ever question that? Do you ever wonder why the government cares about how much money you can put into insurance? If you knew about insurance, you'd know the reason to the answer to that question. I'll discuss that a little bit later. But where the premium falls between the minimum and the maximum will determine, really sets the stage for how the policy acts, how it performs, and the various benefits that it provides. So I was licensed in the early '60s, and things, of course, changed since then. In about the '80s, the government drew a line. We say it drew a line because that determined the maximum amount of contributions for a given amount of coverage, while still allowing the tax advantage growth and the access to the cash value. You say, why did they do that? Are they concerned about the insurance companies overcharging you? No. Oh no, they're not concerned about that at all. Policies, they draw the line and say, this is the most amount of money that you can put in to an insurance policy for this given amount of coverage. All right, policies that put more than that into their plans are classified as a modified endowment. They use a different classification. They don't consider them a pure insurance policy. They call them an endowment contract. It used to be popular back in the '60s, or a MEC, meaning that these contracts, they're going to treat them. These contracts that are modified endowment contracts are treated the same as your 401k, with many of the restrictions, many of the penalties, many of the qualifications that they put on these qualified plans or tax deductible plans. They're going to put on insurance policies now that go over the line, where people put too much money into them in the form of a life insurance policy. But we'll talk about a little bit more about that when we'll come back from a break. I'm going to have a sip of coffee now. We're not listening to Mongo Jerry now. But I want to play a favorite summer song by the Drifters in 1964.
Oh, when the sun beats down and burns the tar up on the roof, and your shoes get so hot you wish your tired feet were fireproof. Under the boardwalk, down by the sea, yeah, on a blanket with my baby, that's where I'll be. Under the boardwalk, out of the sun. Under the boardwalk, we'll be having some fun. Under the boardwalk, people walking above. Under the boardwalk, we'll be falling in love. Under the boardwalk, boardwalk. From the park you hear the happy sound of a carousel. You can almost taste the hot dogs and French fries they sell. Under the boardwalk, down by the sea, yeah, on a blanket with my baby is where I'll be. Under the boardwalk, out of the sun. Under the boardwalk, we'll be having some fun. Under the boardwalk, people walking above. Under the boardwalk, we'll be falling in love. Under the boardwalk, boardwalk. Blanket with my baby is where I'll be. Under the boardwalk, out of the sun. Under the boardwalk, we'll be having some fun. Under the boardwalk, people walking above. Under the boardwalk, we'll be falling in love. Under the boardwalk, boardwalk.
1964, Under the Boardwalk, and of course you'll recognize by now that was the Drifters, and it's one of my favorite summer songs, and I should have perhaps played it a little bit earlier in our vacations, but nevertheless everyone's back at school now, and well, we played it a little bit late. Hey, but it's still 90 degrees out, it's still summer, so let's get back to our discussion, the great discussion that I'm having with myself concerning insurance, trying to give you in this period of time, this 25 minutes that I have to talk to you about this, trying to give you the whole story. We understand that permanent policies have some restrictions into the amount of dollars that we could put into it, because the government will treat those as qualified plans. Listen, they want the tax money. All right, pure and simple. It drops down to the bottom line. They want the tax money. And prior to the 80s, you could load a policy up with a tax-deferred benefit and sometimes a tax savings benefit to avoid the taxes. They said, we're getting wise to that. So insurance agents had to modify the policies, and now we have these restrictions on them. But let's get back to our discussion. We talked about the most you could pay, restricted by the government. The lowest you could pay would be for the term insurance that we have advertised by the radio. It'll give you one benefit, and one benefit alone, the death benefit. When is the best time to buy the term insurance? That's buy it the day before you die. Because after that you're paying a premium for nothing and nothing and nothing, and finally you get to 10 years. If it's a 10-year term, 20-year term, you say, oh, I'd like to keep paying that $14 for that $500,000. They'll say, no, the premium is not $180 a year, it's $18,000 a year, because they know that the only people that will want to continue it are the people that have a serious medical issue or have some concerns concerning it. So the premiums are substantial after that 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 10 year, the age 65 benefit. For us to consider, I think, putting more money into a life insurance than the minimum. We have to know what are we getting for it. If I pay more than the required amount, the minimum amount, if I buy a permanent policy rather than a term policy, what am I getting for it? Am I getting any value? And the vehicle we would use to accumulate money over time, I think any major objective would be to maximize the benefits. If we could design a financial product to store money, accumulate money, what benefits would we want in a product like that? Well, I put together a list of some of the things that we would want in a financial product. First of all, we don't want to pay taxes on it, right? We want it to grow tax deferred, like in a qualified plan. We don't want the taxes of a qualified plan, but we want it deferred. We don't want to pay taxes as you go. We want the money tax-free. We want to be able to withdraw money tax-free, wouldn't we? Get money out of the plan tax-free? All right. Would we like a competitive rate of return? A rate of return that we know today what it's going to be a year, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years down the road? You see? How about the guarantees? Would we want those rate of returns guaranteed? You see, would we want the increase in value to grow as we put in our premium payments? How about protecting us from lawsuits? Remember we talked about one of the 10 erosion factors at the beginning of the program a couple of years ago. We did a couple of shows on the various erosion factors and how money can be taken away from us, and one of them was, of course, through a lawsuit. If we have a lawsuit, this money I have in my account, will it be protected from my creditors and from bankruptcy? We'd certainly like something like that. How about unlimited contributions? The ability to contribute as much into the account as you'd like without any restrictions. Do you like anybody telling you what you can do and what you can't do? So unlimited contributions would be something to give consideration to. How about the unlimited investment options? The option to invest in anything you choose. Would that be of value? And listen, how about if we wanted to use this and the dollars available for collateralization? We did a whole show or a couple of shows on that. The ability to use this as an asset for collateral. Would we want to be able to do that? Of course we would. How about estate tax free? Would you want the ability to exempt that account from estate taxes? Estate taxes, if you have more than a certain amount of dollars coming to your family after you die, get this. Government wants a piece of that too. That's what that means. Do you want a policy that's free from estate taxes? We've said over and over and over and over. This is why Mr. Maloff, Uncle Bernie, got away with so much, the liquidity use and control. If we don't have access to our money, someone else has access to it. What good is it? While we're working, would we want to have access to that money? Would we want to have access to that money if we retired without any strings attached? See, if it's your money, you should be able to have the use, liquidity, and control of that money. How about disability protection? Remember, we go to work each day and get up at 5 o'clock. I talk about shoveling the snow, and it's cold here in the mornings. It's 7 below. I was listening to the radio one morning. Don't worry, it's going to be a warmer day. But right now the temperature in Naperville is a -7. Oh, shiver me timbers. That's terrible. 7 below. Well, yeah, you think you'd like it now when we're 80 or 90, but no. When it gets to 7 below, you won't like it. But the event of our disability, would we want the contributions to be continued? You know, what happens to your contributions into your 401? You get disabled and laid off. Duh. Where's your money? Where's your retirement plans if you're out of work? Would you want disability protection? Do you want your contributions to continue even if you're disabled? How about deductible? Would you like your contributions to be deductible? See, let me go through this. You want tax deferral? How about tax-free? Competitive rate of return. Would you like that? How about all that guaranteed? How about the creditor proof? How about unlimited contributions? How about unlimited investment options? How about the ability to use the money as collateral? How about estate tax free? How about liquidity, use, and control? Without that, you ain't got nothing. How about disability protection? How about the ability to deduct your contributions? Every financial product provides some of these benefits. I'm not saying that a lot of them aren't contained in a mutual fund or some other thing. Other than the guarantees. Where's your guarantees in mutual funds? I've never seen any. But every financial product provides some of these benefits. You could get to it. If it's a 401, it's creditor proof. But permanent life insurance provides all of the benefits. All of the benefits except being able to deduct the contributions. And you don't want to deduct the contributions because that means that contributions that you deducted will grow and grow and grow to a big chunk that you'll owe in the form of taxes. Why don't we take another break and listen to another smooth, slow dance song by Ivory Joe.
Since I met you, baby, my whole life has changed. Since I met you, baby, my whole life has changed. And everybody tells me that I am not the same. I don't need nobody to tell my troubles to. I don't need nobody to tell my troubles to. 'Cause since I met you, baby, all I need is you. Since I met you, baby, I'm a happy man. Since I met you, baby, I'm a happy man. I'm gonna try to please you in every way I can.
Oh boy, wasn't that the song you'd like to be slow dancing with your favorite gal towards the end of the evening? That was Ivory Joe Hunter playing the song that he's written and played Since I Met You, Baby, and that was from 1956, the charts of 1956. Okay, I didn't lie. I haven't had time to tell you the whole story about life insurance, other than the fact that, listen, let me tell you that owning a permanent policy with a mutual company gives you what I like to call a permission slip. It says, listen, go ahead, spend more of your other assets, because with this plan, with this permission slip, with this permanent policy, you're still giving your heirs and your wife a sufficient amount of money to live out her life and with your children and grandchildren. why don't we just pick up this conversation next week when we return. I'd like to thank you for listening. Thanks for the support of the station. My name is, once again, is Fred Belcastro. You can reach me at area 630-673-4360. I appreciate the suggestions and the compliments. You have complimented me on the email. It's fbelsecure@aol.com, fbelsecure@aol.com. And listen, for the time it takes and for a few dollars, get the personal retirement analysis that we offer. It'll save you a lot of money, save you a lot of emotion, give you a great deal of peace of mind. Well, until next week, thanks for listening. And during the heated days that are upon us, why don't we check in with some of our neighbors that maybe not faring as well as we would hope they are. Maybe we could lend a hand, and come on, let's make somebody smile.
When you're smiling,
When you're smiling,
when you're smiling,
when you're smiling,
and the whole world smiles with you. And when you're laughing,
when you're laughing,
oh, you're laughing.
you're laughing,
When the sun comes shining through.
shining through.
When you're crying,
When you're crying,
you bring on the rain.
bring on the
Stop
rain.
your sighing.
Stop your sighing,
Won't you be happy again?
happy again.
When you're smiling,
When you're smiling,
keep on smiling.
keep on smiling.
And the world will smile with you.
You have been listening to Wealth and Wisdom with Fred Belcastro from the John DeVita Broadcast Center on Jack FM 89.7 WRHS FM Norwich and the Windy City Hometown Entertainment Network on Friday, August the 12th, the year 2016. This broadcast was directed by John DeVita. Our special thanks to radio station manager Kevin Zeflik of WRHS FM Norwich and the executive producer of Windy City Hometown Entertainment Network, Mr. John Chikanda. Until next time, please be safe and thanks for listening. Today's broadcast was pre-recorded on Wednesday, August the 10th, the year 2016. And this is Jack FM 89.7 WRHS FM, Norwich, Illinois. Have a safe, enjoyable, and a cool weekend, friends. And we'll talk to you again next week.